All right, chat. All right, chat.
Bobbi Althoff's really good.
Okay. Hold on. There you go. All right. So this one is why Bobbi Althoff's. I don't know. Althoff's. There you go. Althoff's podcast failed so quickly. There you go. And if y'all don't remember, that's that girl who would like have that deadpan like. She's that girl that was like deadpan and would like interview like celebrities and stuff, and she would like it was funny because like she was like being dry or whatever, or like not acting like she didn't understand things or whatever. So it was kind of entertaining. But I just realized we haven't seen her in a minute. She might have been a plant for real. Like when they talk about energy plant, she might have been a plant for real. But let's get into it.
Bobbi Althoff's really good podcast started extremely strong, gaining millions of views with unique celebrity interviews.
Yeah, she interviewed so many people. Mark Cuban, Tyga.
Basically flatlined, with almost
But has she been making content?
People agreeing, I've never seen an industry plant fall off harder than she did.
Not Kira. Not quoting Kira, sweet.
2021, making dry, sarcastic content on the topic of being a mother. She'd make only 26 videos before beginning the really good podcast, to which she'd adapt her dry, sarcastic style.
I think we look alike.
Kind of, but not really.
A little. You're like me in a different font.
The snippet quickly
And the
racked up
different fonts
almost
is
10
crazy.
million views. The style was an instant success. This entire interview is like the calmest argument in history, and I love it. The snippets from her next episode went equally viral.
The clips did really, really well on TikTok. So I was like, okay, I guess I like have something here.
But
It's
it was
actually
the
interesting we
episode
haven't seen her in a
with
while, for real.
Marco that completely changed everything.
Oh, yeah,
Because
Funny
not
Marco.
only did the segments again pull
And okay, so this is why the reason why this went crazy is because Funny Marco has his own podcast or like his own show that he does, and he has that same type of humor. That's why this shit went crazy, because you got two people that got like the same type of humor having a conversation, and I bet this is hilarious, and I've never seen it, but that's why this shit went crazy. Like that's why she popped off, because I can just imagine this conversation, and I've never seen it. I should probably watch that at some point, but that's crazy
numbers. But the full episode gained over 5 million views without a single hate comment anywhere in sight. It's rare that two people I've never heard of make me laugh for an hour straight. This was special. This is hilarious. Marco has found the white woman version of himself.
Same type of
This
same
should
type
be
of
a
humor.
permanent duo. This is just the most cross-cultural, funny, awkward humor. People loved the honest branding of new episode whenever I can get someone to agree to let me interview them, the next of which being a very important person.
My video with Marco went very
Yes,
viral.
yeah.
Like,
correct.
very viral. Then Drake liked one of the videos I had uploaded, and he followed me.
Bobbi therefore tried to get him on.
I'm gonna like shoot my shot to Drake. So I was like, when are you gonna come on my podcast?
And he just was
He said,
game right
yeah,
away.
he was ready to do it.
Landing Drake as her
Drake always
first
do
ever
something, though.
podcast guest. From an entertainment standpoint, the episode was basically perfect. Not
And the
only
bed
had she
goes
landed
crazy.
Drake, who never does podcasts, but she'd done so in a funny, intimate setting, whilst keeping it calm and relaxed, to the extent that people thought they were just old friends.
The fact that you were
And the
so
bed goes crazy.
calm next to Champagne Poppy, because if I was in a bed next to Drake, I would be freaking out.
It therefore gained 10 million views in only 2 weeks, and added 700,000.
Yo, that video was called
subscribers
"You
to
Would
Bobbi's
Thought."
Twitter account.
You Would Thought Bobby is crazy. That's a crazy ass. Like that's insane.
How
But now that on G, that's huge. Like from a content creator standpoint, like to have that type of growth, like that's kind of crazy. And then like getting Drake, like, but that's why people thought she was an industry plant, because she was like getting in the pocket so easily. Like so easily, but like hearing that other podcasts of her talking about like how she's like getting this stuff done and like being like, oh yeah, he just followed an Instagram post, like that might be kind of real. That might be real. Maybe not. You know how things go on the back end, but that might be real, because like that's how shit usually goes sometimes. Sometimes it's really just it's a DM, or it's a like tweet, or like that's how people usually be like making them connections type shit. To that point, you'd be like, oh yeah, this person saw me type shit. So, like they know when I hit them up, it's gonna be a go more than likely. So yeah, let's keep going.
However, as summarized by a tweet reading, Drake giveth and Drake taketh away, Bobbi's interview with Drake began to ruin her reputation. During the podcast,
Why?
Bobbi had asked,
Am I your type?
I'd do it.
Thank you.
and when
I
Drake
do
said
it?
that Bobbi should get with his friend, she seemed kind of interested.
If I could hook you up with anyone, it would be my dog Smigs.
Migs?
Smigs.
Smiley.
Can you tell me about Smiley?
Let me show you a picture of him.
Is he well known, or are you just a friend of yours?
The Funny Marco interview had a similar interaction.
That's crazy.
Are you hitting on me?
You're not my type.
What's your type?
With Bobbi stating she started the podcast for the following reason.
To have a way to meet people, and the podcast, I was like, I wish I could have, like, collaborate with other people.
Meeting new people likely wasn't sinister, but flirting with famous musicians seemed to annoy her husband, who filed for divorce only 6 days after she
Ooh, chat. Nah, that's crazy. Ooh, nah, that's wicked. Husband files for divorce after podcast. Ooh, I'll be tight too though. Like, you in bed with Drake and then you gonna ask him, "Am I your type?" Like, what y'all got good? What y'all got going on? What y'all got up to after? Like, I get entertainment, I get the content, but honestly, at a certain point, not everything's for content. Like, you gotta chill. Like, you can't just be wilding out like that. That's OD. That's crazy.
recorded the podcast with Drake. To make matters worse, Bobbi also admitted,
I flew all the way here
You did. I really do appreciate
on my
that.
daughter's first birthday.
You missed your daughter's first
Here.
What?
regret that you'll never be able to undo.
Yeah.
Horrible parenting.
showing she was kind of ditching her family.
Real, by the way. Real. It would have been like, "Hey, yo, Drake, I get the opportunity, but technically you already had the clout. You could have moved however you really wanted to at a certain point. Like, no, they don't have to interview with you. But he already said yes. Be like, and Drake got time. Drake could have been like, "Man, I got you. We can do this the next day. Fly out, try to fly out 5 a.m. If birthday on Saturday, fly out 5 a.m. Sunday morning. We can get this thing going." Like, you never know. That's another thing I learned about just, like, going through life. Like, as I'm going through life, like, you never know how people will move if you don't ask. Like, if you don't be like, look, like, if you never have the conversation and ask, because some people, like, before you even ask some shit, they already have an idea how they'll do some shit. You feel me? But if you never ask or you never figure it out, you'll never know. Like, that's one thing I just learned about life. Like, she probably could have easily been like, I don't know, Drake is a busy man. He got shit to do. But, like, Drake probably would have been like, "Nah, I got you, gang," type shit. Because he's probably not going to be on no, like, crazy shit. Hell, he even said right there, like, on your daughter's first birthday. Horrible parenting. Crazy. I would have never missed my son's first birthday for a fucking interview. Like, hell nah. Crazy. But
For social
continue.
media fame.
Is it kind of strange to anyone else that this woman who is married with children is constantly asking during these interviews with these rappers if basically they would go out with her? If
That means
basically
she
they would
gone.
sleep with her if they
She
like
gone.
her.
She'd confirmed the divorce in a TikTok post with
She
comments
gone.
stating celebrity status always ruins the best things in life.
That's real.
On Reddit, people stated she got famous and he stayed the same. Few marriages survived that, whilst the rumors likely
real.
didn't help. Did Bobbi Althoff cheat with Drake quickly became a mainstream narrative. Suggesting a conspiracy was when Bobbi deleted the podcast, with Drake and Bobbi both unfollowing each other on Instagram. Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports therefore sent her a text.
Making it obvious
"My
is crazy,
girlfriend
though.
says you hooked up with Drake and got divorced. I am saying that is not true." Bobbi replied, "I'm not commenting publicly, but off the record, you're right, that is not true." She'd shared the text to her story, adding, "I did not want to do this podcast in the first place, and now so
What?
much negativity is coming from it. I'm going to leave it alone after this, but this is the uncensored DM between Dave and I, although just
Wait, you didn't want to do the podcast that you... Unless she's talking about that specific episode because it was her daughter's first birthday. If she's talking about that specific episode, but if she's talking about in general, she's full of shit. I'm sorry. You're full of shit. You're capping. Like, there's no way. You wouldn't have kept doing it. You wouldn't even gotten to the Drake interview if you didn't want to do this podcast. Now, if you're talking about that interview specifically because it was your daughter's first birthday, because I'm giving you an out right there. Okay, cool. But, like, in general, nah.
despite denying
I'm not
the rumors,
having
the
it. I'm not buying
narrative
it.
was set, Bobbi Althoff left her husband a thought around with rappers.
Would you date someone that looks like me? Because there's just a person
What does that mean?
like
Why
looks
do you-
exactly
she's
like
just
me that I
shooting
have a
crazy
twin.
shots.
If I had a twin, would
Maybe
you date them?
if she was like cool and like
The damage this did to Bobbi's image could be seen on her husband's Instagram,
Cooked.
with comments reading, "Sorry that your ex sold you out for clout and fame," after which everything Bobbi did became some kind of drama. For example, she'd do a podcast with Little Yachty, with people calling her ungrateful after she said this.
I walked into his
Well, I
house and it
kinda
was
like
super awkward because like
those, though.
he's really kind of awkward. He didn't even like say hi to me. He's just sitting there with like his 2 assistants. And then he comes up, he's like, oh, hi, gives me like a half hug. And I'm just like, hi. Then goes back to his spot. And I'm like, dude, I don't even want to do this. I'm texting my friend like, Ashley, I need to leave. This is so awkward. I don't want it. Like, what am I doing here?
She wants to make awkward content and then puts Yachty on blast. Shaking my head. Gave her a platform and now she's shitting on y'all. See what happens? People then claim that
that's wicked. That's wicked. Also, Steph, yeah, you came back to our Why Bobbi Althoff's podcast failed so quickly. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But now, to what, like, what's with her in this whole I don't want to do this. Like, why are you if you didn't want to do it, you wouldn't do it. You don't have to do any of this. So why does she keep saying she has to do this shit? I'm so confused. Now I feel like it's the podcast in general, but why do you keep saying you didn't want to do any of this? I'm so confused. Question, what is a plant? I may understand, but still confused. So, like, the whole thing with industry plants is industry plants are people that, I guess we deem, quote unquote, the society, the internet, however you want to break it down. We deem people that may be talented or may not be talented, either or, but people that end up in the limelight, in the spotlight, out of nowhere, for example. Like, a big one was, like, people thought Yeet might have been an industry plant. People thought Ice Spice might have been an industry plant because they just kind of popped up and it was crazy, like out of nowhere. People thought Mulatto might have been an industry plant, but if you knew that Mulatto came off the rap game type shit off that show and she won that competition, she was already rapping for a while, you would think that she was an industry plant. But if you knew, like, you'd be like, oh, okay, I know that, like, her history, like, she been rapping for a hot minute type shit. She been had an opportunity. She been had a shot. So, like, once you know that type of shit, you'd be like, okay. But then you have some people that are like, oh, nah, this person, like, blew up too quickly, or this person, like, just out of nowhere, like, you feel me? That's what an industry plant, like, a plant means. Like, the industry took a person, thought they were good, and then boosted their numbers and planted them into the limelight out of nowhere, right? And then, like, boost their numbers on socials, pay for that, get them in the spotlight, and then people got eyes on them. That's what it means. But, like, I'm very confused of, like, why she thinks that, like, why she keeps saying she doesn't want to do this shit. Like, if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. I don't know if they got I don't know what they got on this girl for her to keep saying she don't want to do this, but to keep doing it. And then you're going to put on blast to people that are, like, giving you, like, they got plenty of money, plenty of clout. They don't need to do this shit with you. They doing this shit because you asked. And it might be cool to do type shit. And hell, Drake is Yachty's homie. Like, that's, Drake and Yachty are homies type shit. So it was like Yachty probably just did the shit because Drake did the shit. Like, you feel me? Like, Drake was like, oh, no, I was cool type shit. Yeah, if you want to do it, like, type shit. He probably hit up Drake like, hey, how is Bobbi? Is she cool? Whatever. I might do the interview. She like, and Drake was probably like, yeah, she cool. It's whatever type shit. And that was it. You feel me? That was the conversation. So, like, I feel like that's kind of crazy.
her fast rise to fame was orchestrated by her management company.
I'm pretty sure.
I think it's Drake and Yachty. Are Drake and Yachty cool? I think Drake and Yachty are cool. I don't know. I think it's Drake and Yachty. Yachty said he's cool with somebody. I think it's Drake.
Pulling the strings to set all this in motion.
Who also managed some of the people who appeared on Bobbi's show.
Well, you got a great agent.
Wait,
and
back
you
up.
got a
Oh,
great
my bad.
agent.
1 second.
Set all this in motion.
The fast rise to fame was orchestrated by her management company.
I'm pretty sure somebody at WME started help pulling the strings to set all this in motion.
Who also managed some of the people who appeared on Bobbi's show.
Well, you got a great agent, and you got a great agency, and you got great guests.
Bobbi simply trolled the claims, but there were other inconsistencies.
Ever since Kimora was a little girl, she had her sights set on the sky. And
My bad. Ads. Eventually, I'm gonna get YouTube Premium. For the YouTube, subscribe, all that shit, so you can fund my YouTube Premium.
Claimed that she was broke.
People think I'm joking about being in debt. I'm not. Like, I put every penny I had into this podcast.
And told Mark Cuban this.
I don't have any money.
None?
At all. I have debt, actually.
You have debt? How much debt do you have?
Like $20,000 of debt.
Then further added in her Rick Glassman podcast.
Every time a credit card maxes out, I have to switch to another. I have like 2 cards maxed out right now, so hoping to pay them off soon.
However, people realized she spent $500 on Chloe sandals. She is not broke, she is broken. Also noting that her husband was a millionaire who had 170,000 students who'd bought his $43 course. Eventually, Bobbi also revealed that the podcast wasn't serious.
So when you interview these people, you're not Bobbi necessarily.
No, yeah, I'm just like a really dry person.
Deleting more of the magic that first made her interesting. We mentioned that when she first interviewed Marco, there were no negative comments. However, 3 months later when Reddit asked thoughts on Bobbi Althoff, there wasn't a single positive comment. Annoying ASF and not funny at all. I can't stand her, don't find her funny, and find it.
Yeah,
odd
you
that
got to be
rappers
into
are
that type
always
of
her
humor too. Like,
targets to
she
pick
never
on
caught
like
for me
she's
because
better than
I don't
them.
care about that
Gives
type of
me
humor.
the ick.
At least
I
from
watched
her.
a few of her interviews. I just don't find her funny or charismatic enough to pull off the shtick. I can see why she's popular though. This kind of awkward cringe humor is having a moment. Only 4 days after that Reddit thread, it was reviewed as the not so really good podcast, which stated the content itself is boring. The episodes also lack direction and a central theme, probably because they only consist of small talk. The podcast fails to deliver anything substantial or thought-provoking. Instead, it provides a glimpse into how celebrities behave in casual settings, which may seem intriguing to some, but ultimately fail to engage me. Another person said that Bobbi's podcast sadly points out how real hip-hop journalism has been practically erased, while even funny Marco began to critique her show.
With me, it was like, I think you're funny, Marco, but let me learn about you. Like, trying to figure me out. But now it's like the interviews, I think they're like, she's trying to shit on people. And when I watched the interview, Offset, I was like, damn, that was pretty bad.
As mentioned, she was plain disrespectful during her podcast with Offset, leading him to respond with similar energy.
You need a little bit of seasoning. You ain't got no seasoning, man. You like a plain piece of chicken, just on the thing.
My bad, I'm straight up massaging my beard.
It seemed this was where many people quit watching Bobbi's show, aided by full podcast episodes that were just promoting products.
I do remember the Offset
process,
one.
She'd also change her appearance.
I do remember the Offset one because I remember seeing it. I was like, damn, that was kind of crazy. I was like, damn, how you gonna talk to your guests like that? Like, you kind of OD a little bit. At least if he was in on it though, it's not a big deal. But like, I was kind of like, nah, that's kind of OD personally. I just feel like, I don't know. Let's finish it.
Leading to criticism bad enough for Bobbi to respond.
I am so tired of
she got lip fillers?
of people saying she ruined her face. The only thing I have done to my face is that I have a little bit of filler in my upper lip. Okay? I do not have cheek filler.
In a different video, she talked about getting other procedures.
I went in to get my zit injected and I left with Botox in my forehead, which, you know, that's fine, that's normal. I had lines here. I also didn't like that this would crease so much and I'd smile, so I got under eye filler. So I got Botox injected right here.
Which perhaps unfairly has only led to even more hate. Her 15 minutes are up. Bye, Bobbi. I am so tired of Bobbi.
Talking about she broke, but she getting Botox.
The last couple of months, however, have been even worse. For starters, the style of the podcast has changed. The dry, sarcastic humor has become normal conversation, and all the awkward, quiet moments are
because she realized I was OD.
editing. Strangely, however, this only makes it even more awkward and less entertaining as it feels like any other normal podcast.
How old are you?
Me, I'm 21.
You're 21?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so young.
I'm a baby still.
Wait, I didn't realize you were so young. I thought we were the same age. Now I feel really old.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
You're not really old.
This entire...
Okay, maybe she's... maybe she... I don't know if I want to say she gained some integrity. I don't know if that's the word. Maybe she just gained some, like, I don't know. Maybe she was like, all right, people shouldn't know me because I keep disrespecting people. After that Offset one, I was crazy. But also, like, you weren't disrespecting people off rip. You were just talking to them awkwardly. So just keep doing that. Keep the stick up. That's your content. So then you kind of like, I mean, you can always pivot and stuff to try to be like more legitimate. That might be like what she was trying to do. But that's not why people were watching you from the jump. So now I'm not surprised that she fell off. I thought it was like gonna be some crazy shit. Nah, she just changed her style up because I feel like she can't continue up with her style because she still had people interviewing with her. Like, people were still interviewing her. She had JoJo Siwa, she had Sukiyana. I mean, she still got people interviewing. It's just her style's different, so people aren't as tuning in as much because it's not as entertaining as it was because it was entertaining. Nobody was going to this for a serious interview. Weird.
The interview feels like they are making small talk while waiting for something. She'd also do an episode with Dax Flame in which she was way ruder than any other podcast.
What is something fun that makes interviewing someone fun for you?
Just having good conversation.
Okay, yeah, I love good conversation.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell.
This genuinely was not even...
That's crazy. That was wicked. That was real wicked. See, and that feels like she was trying. She peeped that people were like not as entertained anymore with the fact that she dropped her stick and then tried to over adjust. and she thought, oh, being rude was the no. That's not what it was. It was the cringy awkwardness, not you being rude. That's weird as hell.
In an interview, this was like bullying the nice kid and making him feel horrible in any way. Then 2 months ago, she did this video here, which judging by the dislike ratio was yet another doozy.
And then I saw this video of a girl talking about how much she made from her podcast, and I mentally decided that she made like at least $300 a year on her podcast alone, and I was like, that's what I need to do next. Like, I need a podcast.
I saw how much someone made and thought, that's what I need to do. Wow, what a passionate and inspiring individual. Toward the start of her career, Bobbi joked, not more money though, and that's all that matters in the world, but it seems that's now her actual philosophy.
I didn't grow up with money. I am on a lifelong journey to get money. I love money's nice.
That's been her philosophy. It's always been about the
doing
money.
The interview, Bobbi's viewership has significantly slowed. Her reputation is far from perfect, whilst her interview style has simply gone stale.
How much money do you spend per month?
Yeah. All this really makes sense. I don't think anything here that was said like was like super shocking. This just makes sense that she just at a certain point just dropped off because she changed. She changed. The money got to her and she started flipping up. She started flipping the script. The ego started hitting. She started flipping the script. She thought she could just talk to people however she want because she got some money. Yeah, that's all that happened. She wasn't bought this for real. It was on her, not in her. And damn, I dropped my beard and my beard balm. I don't know what I'm saying. I dropped my beard balm and I dropped my beard comb. That was crazy. Anyway, it was on her and not in her, and that's just what happened. Yeah, I don't like people with that mentality either. You can't just be not grateful. Like, that's all that happened. She just wasn't grateful for what she was able to attain, and she wasn't grateful from the jump. Cause even if her motivations changed, she wasn't grateful from the jump. Just off of like, gang, you had a husband, a kid. Your husband was a millionaire. Like, you didn't need to do all this extra shit in the first place. So then you get it, and then you think you hot shit for a second, and then you start flipping the script again. You get divorced. You lose your family. Was it even fucking worth it? Probably not. But like, I don't know, gang. This whole thing was kind of weird, but at the same time, it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, that's the vid. YouTube. Chat. On to the next.